Welcome back to Newsday. Thank you for staying with us. Now, a U.S. appeals court has ended a special master review of documents seized from Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. The ruling is a win for the U.S. Department of Justice, which is probing if Mr. Trump took classified documents with him when he left the White House. The special master is an independent lawyer who decides if any of the records are covered under attorney-client or executive privilege. Now, investigators can review the documents in full. All right, now for more on this, we can speak to Arise U.S. correspondent Rotimi Kade, who joins us live from New Jersey. Good day to you, Rotimi, and straight to it. A massive blow to Donald Trump in his case regarding classified documents taken when he left the White House. Can you tell us the significance of this ruling?
Well, the significance of this ruling is that is a complete win for the Justice Department. Right now, with the ruling, the Justice Department can now go ahead to proceed with the investigation and also examine the documents that were seized from the Mar-a-Lago residence of the former president. And this is also very a much big blow for the former president, because at this point, the former president do not have any strings to actually, hang himself on, except an appeals to the full bench of the 11th Circuit. The 11th Circuit obviously is the appeals court, or perhaps the former president can go to the Supreme Court to appeal the case. I think that's the only option the former president has right now. But looking at the significance of this case and the arguments presented by the Donald Trump's attorneys, which includes the ability of the Justice Department to infringe on the privilege, or the presidential privilege of former president, and also for the fact that those documents are classified document that's been declassified by the former president, and also the fact that the FBI actually went to take personal effects of the former president and his families. The three judges in the 21-page opinion review actually states that those cases do not hold water as far as the investigation is concerned. And in order to maintain a separation of powers, the judiciary will not interfere in an executive matter, which means that the execution has already been carried out by the FBI and the case is ongoing. So they will not want to interfere, but that the cases that was brought before the court is actually weak as far as the 11th Circuit is concerned.
Well said, Rotimi. And how could this impact Donald Trump's presidential run come 2024?
I think this is another chip in the Donald Trump's political dynasty, because already we've seen the recent polls that is obviously closing in on his popularity and his return in 2024. The recent poll actually shows that Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, is closing in very, very fast on President Trump's chances of returning back to the White House. And so many other Republican financiers are beginning to back down from President's support because of some of the things that he's been doing. And, some of these cases are now revealing that his return to the White House might not be good for the Republican Party. Don't forget that the recent midterm elections largely was blamed on his endorsements of some of the candidates, even though they won the House, which was far below expectations. They were also thinking that they could retain the Senate, but the Democrat won the Senate, which is quite unprecedented. So if you look at the combination of this, it shows that the former president might just be on the brink of being ousted as the standard bearer for 2024 for the Republican Party.
Now, while we're talking about the U.S. Senate, they passed legislation to stop a rail strike. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about this legislation?
Well, yes, the Senate actually passed legislation yesterday, Thursday, to avoid the economic catastrophic rail strike 1 day after the House approved the measure. It now goes to the president's desk. That's talking about President Joe Biden, who said that he's going to sign it into law immediately. But he also actually appealed to Congress to actually act swiftly, warning that, of course, a major arm to supply chains could actually disrupt the supplies of clean drinking water and, of course, gasoline, which is already on the high, and a lot of people are complaining in a fragile economy. So what happened yesterday was that the agreement was actually reached between the Democrats and Republicans, which, of course, was also unprecedented. They passed that legislation 80-15. The required votes to go through is actually 60, but we saw some Republican crossing over with the Democrats to actually pass that legislation. I think it's a big win for the Biden administration going forward, and that could also aid the Democrats' stance as to the arguments about the economy. The economy is going to come stronger than ever.
Well, Rotimi, how damaging would this rail strike have been to the United States economy?
Well, I think it's going to be a huge damage if the legislation was not passed by the Congress and the Senate, because when you look at the road infrastructure in the United States, to be fair, I think is deteriorating. And we've seen some of the welfare packages also for the rail workers have not also been met or been reviewed for the past decades. So the rail workers obviously are very essential to the economy of the United States. Most of the gasoline, most of the food were transported by rail because it's a little bit more faster to get to the end users. And if that were not to be averted, which means that the economy is going to lose billions of dollars and perhaps plunge the economy into recession. So that was quickly averted, and I think it's a good one for the administration.
Absolutely. Rotimi Kade, Arise US correspondent, thank you so much for your insight on these issues.